Today we're talking to a boxing family who found themselves smack dab in the middle of a viral sensation a few years ago. We'll be discussing how that's affected their boxing careers and outlook on the sport. Welcome to Title Unboxed, Father Daniel and his twin boys, Stephen and Danny.
Welcome to Title Unboxed. With more than 40 years of experience in the fight game, our host, Doug Ward, will be covering every corner of the ring as we get comfortable between the ropes. We'll talk with both the lesser knowns and the legends, discuss boxing's rich history and current state of the game. We'll also look at today's latest innovations, equipment breakdowns, and insights you won't uncover anywhere else. Join us now as we take a look inside Title Unboxed.
Team Grandy, welcome to Title Unboxed.
What's up, man? How you doing, Doc?
Doing good. How you guys been?
Good. We
Good.
can't complain.
Well, for our viewers, obviously everybody knows who Daniel Sr. is. It's pretty obvious. I think your immediate right is Danny, right?
Right.
And then Stephen.
Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
awesome. That's pretty good. I got that one right. I had a 50-50 shot.
You hit it on the nose. You nailed it.
Well, Daniel, I want to start with you and get a little bit of your background because some people don't know where you've come from and what you've been through. You were born and raised in Philly, right?
Yep. West Philadelphia to be exact.
And kind of ran the streets, right?
Yeah, a little bit too much, but yeah, got a little sidetracked. Did some boxing. Got a little sidetracked with the street life.
Yeah.
But, trying to make up for it now.
Yeah, Philly's known for that, though, right?
No, absolutely. Sports on the streets is pretty much the life in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but that's why you got the boys involved in boxing, right? Really, what was part of the thrust behind that, the motivation to get them centered and focused on something other than what was out there in the streets.
Absolutely. I always tell people I did that so they won't have to. So the objective is to keep them motivated and in a positive form away from the streets. Like I said, I lived a life. I know everything out there. I lost a bunch of my friends.
Yeah.
I've been through it and everything you can imagine, every aspect of that life. So I didn't want that for my sons. So it was a no-brainer. By the time they could walk, we started training.
Yeah. How'd you get into boxing? Why boxing?
I had a couple uncles that boxed. I had a couple cousins that fought pro. It's pretty much a family sport. Like, we all dealt with boxing in some shape, form, or fashion. Like I said, I went in the gym young, but I just didn't have what they had. I didn't have my father present to, give me that extra push. So had that, who knows how it would have turned out, because I was actually a really talented boxer. But, like I said, other things partook in my life.
Yeah. Well, having that guidance and that support system is huge.
Yeah. It's no mistake that some of the most successful fighters in the game are father and son combinations.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, what is it? What is it that makes that work or not work, in your opinion? Because it does run the gamut. You got the guys like the Mayweathers that are very successful at it. You have other teams, father-son teams, that kind of fall apart. They don't gel and things kind of go awry.
I think it has a lot to do with the personality of the father and knowing when you peak. Like, it's crazy. I just had this conversation recently with another coach of mine in my gym. And you have to know, you have to have the balance. And I always say this, I've been their coach and their dad so far their whole life. So if we get to a point where we're starting to peak and, they're getting rebellious to me, I'm not opposed to bringing in help. And I think a lot of fathers don't understand that aspect of it. And what made Floyd successful in my eyes is that he had senior Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So, and Jeff, I'm sorry, I can't forget Jeff too.
Yeah.
So he was able to get three different outlooks. It wasn't just daddy all the time.
Right.
Like, as we well know, as the world knows, when dad went away, Roger took over. So I believe that balance means everything. So I try to keep like a group of my friends that coach around me too. And it's days that we're not seeing eye to eye. It's weeks that they can't stand me because I'm their dad. So I'll usually back up. I'll back off of them and I'll let them train with them. And they usually will come back like, no, daddy, nobody will do it your way. And so it's finding a balance, I believe.
Well, and sometimes I think fighters, not just your kids, but fighters in general, get used to the same voice after a while. It's like they have a tendency to kind of tune you out and don't hear maybe some of the key things that are going to help them in the ring or in life. So bringing in others that have that same kind of mentality and goal-oriented that you are can share that with them, and it makes more sense. It rings true,
Absolutely. I agree 100%. You need that balance. It takes a village. Like, it takes more than just one voice. And I don't believe personally that no one coach can do it by itself. We may hear it all the time. The coach say, I'm responsible for everything like that. But somewhere, somehow, some way, somebody helped out with something. You need help. I can't do it alone.
Yeah. But it's just got to be, I think people have a problem in boxing because you hear trainers stealing fighters, I think there's a little bit of that hesitancy to trust those around you. But again, it just comes back to the key is knowing who you got on your side and who's, not.
And saying that's, for me, that's the thing I don't have to worry about no matter what. It's my sons. So even if I went with another trainer down the line, I'm still going to always be there with my sons. I don't have that arrogance. I don't possess that. So whatever works for them. I've been telling you guys, my main objective is for them to be successful. It's not about me.
Yeah.
This is way beyond me. So whatever works for them. If they wanted to fire me there tomorrow and hire another coach, guess what? I'm going to take a back seat. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to watch. And I'm going to give my opinion where they wanted at. It's that simple.
Yeah. Well, that's a great outlook. I mean, even Teofimo Lopez, I know heading into this fight with, who was it he fought? Lomachenko.
Right.
He said he'd come out before during the preparation, said, he just said his relationship with his father wasn't the same, and he was hurt that his dad couldn't be more of a father than a trainer sometimes, and that kind of hit the news on ESPN. It was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I seen that. Again, it has to do with that balance, though. That what we're talking about, you got to know when to turn it off. Mm-hmm. And for me personally, because they started so young and they're still so young, we don't even talk about boxing at home.
Yeah,
we got one rule. They don't even watch boxing. They don't even know that. They have no interest in watching.
Yeah,
unless it's a person that they really like and know. Can't even get these guys to sit down and watch boxing. They'll say that is. We'd rather do. So. Yeah, I think that balance has to be all around the board. And then, like I said, I try to keep them as young as possible, as children, amusement parks and all that. You have to have that balance. It can't be coached 24 hours a day because I'm the disciplinary too. On top of that, so nobody wants to hear you scream at them in the gym all day and then come home and scream at them again about boxing. We turn that off. We turn it off the moment we hit our doorstep.
Well, and I see you post a lot, and that's something that's really prevalent in that is that you keep it fun too. You do things outside of the gym. You keep it fun in the gym, and there's a nice, like you say, balance of all of it, and that probably lends a lot to the situation.
Yeah, that's the biggest key to it. I think in order for this to work, I think that's the biggest part. That and a conversation me and you previously had, not burning them out.
Yeah.
I'm concerned on that. As you can see and as the world see, we don't fight 20 times.
Yeah.
If we fight 2 or 3 times a year, that's good enough for me. Because we get sparring in the gym too. So it's like I don't really in the amateur ranks is at their age is 3 1-minute rounds. You're really not getting anything from that. So I'd rather spar. So they don't have the problem with it. You've been in the light their whole life. So getting sparring is key to me. So I've been trying to get the top kids in the country. We just went to Texas, sparred all the kids in the Knockout Factory. This guy has about 10 national champions in his gym. So we sparred all of them. That's the key right there to me. That process of not burning them out.
Right. Well, that's a great experience, especially when you're going out and seeing different looks everywhere you go.
Right. Because you never know what you're going to meet later on down the line. Yeah. And I feel like prepare for it now. It's not a shocker later on. Yeah. Because we well know, like I know when you first, if they decide to take that route, you step into the professional ranks, that first 10 fights, you don't know what you're going to get. You have no idea.
Yeah.
And that's why we see guys lose pro debuts that they were supposed to win. Because you never know what you're going to get. So
yeah, you don't. Yeah. Let's run it back to when the boys started. We talked a little bit about, I just said something about Instagram, but you guys have a big presence on there. But it kind of happened virally overnight. What was the first video you posted? There were 2 that I remember. One was shooting outside the window of the boys down below on the street. And another one was the boys working together in the street. Which one of those kind of caught fire and took off?
Honestly, it was the one in the street. And I preach this to people. Sometimes negativity helps you get where you're trying to go. Because the video went viral because somebody said, these kids are going to get hit by a car.
I saw that.
That was how the video picked up, believe it or not. So everybody started watching. And then, of course, people take up for you like, man, if they're in the street, somebody's defending it. I mean, somebody's taping it. They didn't realize we were on a one-way block. But it was that, and like I said, it started with people's negativity. And then, from there, it took off. I previously mentioned I was in a hotel in Connecticut. I was working for a water department at the time. I was in the bed, sleep. And a friend of mine called me. I was like, dude, get up. Look on the TV. Like, look on the TV for what? Like, turn on ESPN, hurry up. I turn on ESPN and Max Kellerman and them sharing a clip. And I'm like, oh, what the hell?
Bizarre.
My friend, what the heck? And from that point on, I think the video went on to have about 60, 70 million views or something. It just touched the world. It all came from a negative comment somebody made.
Yeah. Well, it's just you got to embrace the good and the bad, right?
Hey, yeah. It's part of the game.
But ESPN took it. I think Bleacher Report picked up on it. Michael Rappaport, Snoop Dogg, Floyd Mayweather. I mean, it ran the gamut, right?
Yeah, everybody. Literally, Hillary Swank even posted it. $1 Million
Baby.
Really?
Yeah.
So it kind of took off beyond our expectations.
Yeah, a little bit surreal, right? I mean, because it's not something you planned on. It just happened.
What I've learned about life and dealing with this with them for the past couple of years is that when the people pick you, they pick you. It's not nobody can plan. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
We have no control over it.
So why Danny typically takes charge with the mitts. How did that kind of transpire? Is that he just organically picked up on that faster and that was kind of his thing, or how did that work out that became their dynamic?
Actually, it started with Steven.
Oh, really?
Danny's late on picking up with the mitts, and it started because I was tired of hurting my back, bending over, training them guys because they were so little at the time. You remember, we were really, really short, so it was that. And so I honestly, one day in the gym, I just told him, pick him up, you're going to train your brother. And that's how that started. And from that point on, they fell in love with the passion of helping each other. And they're twins, so, twins' biggest thing, they were born with each other, so they're constantly helping. So it's easy for them to help other people. So that's how that started. So,
like you say, you started them early on, probably when they were in diapers, but that video clip went viral when they were, 6 or 7?
I believe they were about 6?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
They're about 5 or 6, actually, but not in the video.
How long, and this might be a question for Danny or Steven, how long after that clip went on ESPN did you start to sense people saw that and were reaching out to you and talking to you about it, and they're like, hey, you guys were on TV, that's so cool?
We went to school, people know. We walked down the street, people know. There was a lot of people.
It's fun though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the other hand of it, did you have people at school that were like, oh man, you guys aren't that good, you shouldn't be on TV? Did you have the people that were kind of naysayers about all that?
No, not really. People
really
didn't really care about that. They didn't really talk bad about us.
Yeah. I guess the other aspect of that is in the gym, in school, as you go to competitions, do you see guys targeting you? Do you see you kind of got a target on your back? If somebody beats one of the Grandy Twins, it's kind of a badge of honor. Do you sense that kind of competition?
At some fights, people stare at you and then they go in the back and talk to each other, saying bad stuff. Oh, I want to beat them so bad, stuff like that. But when we get in the ring, it's all over at that point.
Different story.
Yeah, they've been groomed and they get it that, they understand, as I put it in their head early, there's no such thing as a bad fight in the amateurs because it's all an experience. So even if you lose, all right, now you know how it feels to lose, and you should know you never want to lose again. So we don't.
How it feels.
We don't. We've lost. We've won a lot. We've won way more than we lost. So what people don't understand about that, and my perspective is that it doesn't change anything. If you beat somebody that people love, okay, you beat them. It's not going to make you famous. Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. Floyd beat Canelo early in his career. People still love Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, right. He rose to the occasion too. He rose above it. He learned what Floyd taught him, which was defense. And he's just built on that and become almost unbeatable.
Right, he became a bigger fighter, and that's what it is. Where everybody got to realize, in any sport, anything we do in life, not just sport, it's a lane for everybody. You don't have to like try to down a person or take their shine in order to become successful. It's a lane. Everybody has their own lane. What you might work for you might not work for us.
Yeah.
You know? Likewise,
Definitely.
vice versa.
Everybody has their own path to success. Stephen or Danny, have there been any times at school when somebody's kind of picked a fight with you to kind of test you and see what you had outside?
No, that has never happened because our mom worked at the school, so people wouldn't try that.
Okay, so you got a lot of acclaim and a lot of recognition for those clips that went viral on Instagram or Facebook or wherever they're at that time. But you were already preparing to fight. I mean, this wasn't something you set up for, likes and shares. You guys already kind of wanted to box, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then after that, you had how long after that those clips and kind of getting some notoriety was it before you had your first amateur fight?
Well, we wasn't able to fight until at the age of 8, and I think it was after our birthday. No, it was more like after winter, so in fall. No, in spring at like some kind of casino. No, that's a hotel. Oh, hotel.
So it was right after you turned 8.
Yes.
And that was also right after you appeared on Little Big Shots with Steve Harvey, right?
Yeah, that was at 7.
What was that like, going and being flown out to wherever was it filmed in California?
Yeah, it was fun. We went to the Universal Studios. They took us to a room. We sat in there, played games. After that, we went to the place where they were shooting the show at. After the show, he was talking about ice cream, and then we got ice cream.
So, did you know who Steve Harvey was before that?
Yes, we watched his show on YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, was that? Do you guys get in those kind of situations get nervous at all, intimidated, or have you been in front of the camera so long that you're pretty comfortable?
We've been in front of the camera so long that it's comfortable now.
Yeah, you're used to it.
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys, I know one of you or both of you were big Lomachenko fans. Who do you follow in today's game? Your dad says you don't like to watch a lot of fights, but who do you turn into? Who really captures your attention and you kind of aspire to be like them or see things in them that you like to do in the ring as well and can get tips from?
Most of all, the TITLE Twins, since we can relate to them, and Lomachenko, Floyd Mayweather, especially Canelo Alvarez. He don't care what opponent he go up against.
He's pretty fearless.
Yeah.
So what do you like about Lomachenko, for example?
His feet movement and the way he handles things and the way he thinks.
So when you watch a fighter like that, do you try to watch him for technique, or are you just kind of watching it to be entertained?
Watch it for technique.
So you do learn from it?
Yes. Like watch his foot movement, how he moves around the ring, how he moves his head when he's in front of an opponent, small, big, even his size, someone that's rushing him.
So does your dad ever make you watch the old school fighters like the Sugar Ray Robinson and those guys?
He doesn't make me watch them in the house when we get in the house sometimes.
Yeah. Is there anybody from back in the day that you enjoy?
Sugar Ray Leonard and what is his name? What is the
Hopkins?
Not the one who can move his head really good.
Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker.
Yeah, Pernell Whitaker.
Yeah, Sweet Pea was known for defense for sure. So you guys been traveling back and forth to Houston, I know, getting ready for a show coming up. Daniel, what's the story out there? When's the show? When's the event, and how'd that come to be?
August 7th is the show in Houston, and I mean Dallas. I'm sorry,
Dallas.
It's in Duncanville, and a friend of mine that's out there who owns a gym. We pretty much got acquainted while I was out there. I mean, he reached out to me on social media. Good guy, humble guy. He has Duncanville boxing. It's in Bobby Knight Fieldhouse. And he just was like, oh, I want you to come to town. He actually offered to pay for us to come to town, which is funny.
Oh, really?
And I'm like,
Yeah.
we're on Peter. Uncle lives in Frisco. So like, we're coming there XYZ. He's like, all right, bet. So it worked out. And from the moment we met, we've been on good vibes. So we decided to do a Philly versus Texas. We both thought it was a good idea just to get these kids, like I said, different exposure to get, different styles. Every state's different. And we just took it from there. We've been planning it since January or December last year, I believe. December or January, we've been planning it. So it came together. And now it's next month we'll make history. I feel like we're probably one of the first teams to take a team of 10 kids to Texas to compete, outside of the national tournaments, to do our own type thing. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a real big deal, and we're gonna try our hardest to make it an annual event.
That's great. So, how do you feel about that Texas area compared to Philly? What's the environment like? What's the climate like out there? What's the difference?
Oh man, it's hot as God knows what. Horrible. We trained in the gym, and like I said, the Knockout Factory gym. And the first day we went, it looked like I poured a bucket of water on the Twins. They were sweating so hard. So the biggest part about Texas is getting used to the climate. But what I can say is they have some real talented kids. It's literally, and I'm not saying this because we're doing a fight out there. I'm a boxing person like yourself. It was literally the best sparring competition we've ever had, hands down.
Yeah.
And we've been everywhere. We sparred all over the place. And it's not to take nothing from nobody, but my personal opinion is that it was some of the best sparring we ever had outside of Philly.
Well, Roger Mayweather always claimed that the best fighters came from the Midwest.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe so, and I kind of concur. I agree. It's a different atmosphere.
Yeah, that family out of Michigan was one of them.
Yeah, made history.
Yeah.
It's a great environment. I love that Texas is big for football, so a boxing event there is huge because there's not too many of them. We play football, there's football in every corner.
Right.
So a boxing event is a huge thing, and I think it should be a great turnout, great turnout.
Well, it's a hotbed, so that's kind of a perfect spot.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so
of course,
are the boys fighting on it?
Yeah. They fight. Right now, we're not sure if their fight's going to be a real fight or an exhibition because they got like some big things coming up. And honestly, the people I'm dealing with didn't really want them to fight. They're trying to save it for another show. But I don't know. We'll decide for the next couple of days. But as of right now, I got them down for fighting. So we'll see how it goes.
How does sparring go? Do you ever? I think I've seen some clips of the boys sparring together. What are your feelings about that? How often do you do it, and how do you control it so that they? I mean, I wouldn't let my boys spar together because they got too angry. They couldn't control that little green-eyed monster, and it got out of control. What's it like with the boys?
Whew, it's rough. So we pretty much don't spar a lot with each other. We'll usually save it for fight time, and I'm honestly saying we'll probably do it 2-3 times a month, if that, because it gets brutal. I put it to you like this: when they spar each other, it's the only time I'll put full headgear on them, like full headgear, cheekbones, all that. Kids love open, but with each other, I make them wear full headgear because it gets bad. It's the brotherly thing. Their sparring might be about who ate the last bowl of cereal in the house. They don't have.
So let me ask the boys: is that their hardest sparring? Like looking into a mirror?
Yes, it is the hardest because they know exactly what you do.
Yeah. Is it like looking into a mirror? You feel like you're just sparring yourself?
So is it like looking in the mirror? Do you feel like you're sparring yourself?
No, not sparring ourselves, but it is hard because we know exactly what to do. We have 2 different sparring styles, so it's not like sparring yourself.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Daniel, I know you're on the road. I'm going to let you go here, but before I do that, I want you to call out your social channels, how people can follow you, watch what you got coming up, and I also know you have a website out there that you got merch on, and people can jump on there and grab some Grandy Twins tees and some cool stuff. Yeah, well,
we can follow us on everything as Grandy Twins, from YouTube, to Instagram. It's Grandy Twins _boxing on Instagram. Grandy Twins on Facebook. Grandy Twins on YouTube. And the website is grandytwins.org. And we got, like I said, this show coming up August 7th in Duncanville, Texas. And then we got we're working on a couple different things. Honestly, we're working on a little movie situation, got a couple of different things coming up. So we'll keep everybody posted on the website for what's going on. And so just staying busy, man. Just trying to mature these kids and move them along properly so we can take this next step, hopefully, in life. God willing. I mean, that's the plan right now.
Well, there you go. You're doing a great job as a dad, as a coach, and moving these kids along and keeping it fun and keeping their heads on straight. It's good, great to see that in boxing.
Appreciate it. And again, we want to give a huge shout out to TITLE. But don't forget, the show in Dallas, August 7th, is sponsored by TITLE, which is a blessing to us. You guys have been showing us love from day one.
Yep.
One of the first people that believed in us. So, we always going to keep that relationship forever.
You know it. We're there with you from beginning to the end.
And to the end time, and I definitely agree with that one. From day one, it's never been nothing but love.
All right. Danny, Steven, Daniel, good to see you guys. Take care, safe travels. Thank you for watching this episode of TITLE Unboxed. If you're anything like me, you can never get too much boxing. So if you'd like to watch more episodes, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our TITLE Boxing YouTube page.